Hi, my name is Jessica Miller. Every summer my family goes on a trip around the country, and this year I'm bringing you. Our first destination, Chicago, Illinois. That meant driving through Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, getting a speeding ticket, and finally reaching Chicago.
We're going to be coming into Chicago. Really the Midwest was populated by a lot of Indians, and the name Chicago comes from an Indian term that loosely translated, I think, is stinky onion field.
Our destination for the day, the top of the Willis Tower.
I am scared.
An elevator took us 103 stories up in less than a minute.
They now have this sky deck thing where you can actually walk out onto this plexiglass ledge, and you're kind of suspended in the air, and you can look out and see the entire city.
The 103rd floor was good for the eyes, but not so good for the nose.
There were like all these people in there, and they didn't use deodorant.
After Chicago, we headed south to Champaign-Urbana, where my dad took us to his old grade school and went off philosophical on us.
Because I was playing football with some friends, a bee stung me. Because it stung me, I quit playing, and I went up and talked to some girls that were sitting on some tires up there. I ended up dating one of the girls, seriously. Her dad moved to Florida, she went with them. I followed them to Florida, I met your mother, and we had you. Had that bee not stung me, you wouldn't exist.
From Illinois, we continued on through Missouri, Oklahoma, and into the Texas Panhandle, where we stopped at Cadillac Ranch.
Cadillac Ranch is a pretty neat place. It's where graffiti is not only allowed, but embraced and encouraged as art. We were just going to town, spraying our names and spraying Chris Loves Deb and spraying the Miller sisters and all sorts of stuff all over these cars, knowing of course that they're going to be painted over by nightfall, if not within the hour. All right, we just finished at Cadillac Ranch. My index finger's numb from pressing down the nozzle for so long, and as you can see, you get a little dirty doing this.
From Texas, it was on through New Mexico and then Arizona. When we're in Arizona, we have two favorite restaurants. The mining camp.
Well, we thought we were going to be eating at the mining camp, but as you can see, maybe not.
And Tia Rosa.
We were in Arizona for 4 days. We ate at Tia Rosa 5 times.
Chips and Coke.
Well, my dad said that
Carbon sugar.
whenever we were good, we got a whole thing of Coke, a whole bottle of Coke.
And when we
but
were
when
bad,
we were bad, we would not get to do it. We would not get to have any Coke.
So yeah, we lost some Coke.
I only lost it once.
We only lost it once too, or twice.
By the time we were in Arizona, we'd been traveling for a couple of weeks. So at this time, we were promising the kids that if they would behave themselves during the day, they would be able to get a bottle of Coke at Tia Rosa that night. So yes, we were bribing the kids with Coke. But if you traveled with them all day, every day, you would know that it's worth it.
Pollution and kill plants and animals.
Elise and Audrey are not the easiest people to drive with. Either they're playful and they drive you crazy,
Jesse, look, we left a surprise for you.
or they're fighting and they drive you crazy.
And there were people who just watching you. You were wearing
Not annoying at all. Not annoying at all. Not annoying at all. She's a liar. She's a liar, big fat liar.
The girls weren't the only reason it was hard to be in the van.
All right, so we left Arizona, we're in New Mexico, and there are stretches of New Mexico where there's just nothing. You'd think they should put signs up that say no gas for the next 160 miles, but there's no signs. They just rely on you and the good sense to not let your tank drop below a half a tank. I told you guys we were in good shape. I was on top of it.
He was not on top of it. He was just fortunate.
I knew all along that there'd be a gas station out here in the middle of nowhere in New Mexico. There was never anything to fear. Just get kind of worried.
So one problem got solved, but later that night, there was another.
All right, so we're in West Texas. I get pulled over. Turns out the police officer's from Bellevue. And so he tells us about his past in Bellevue and his connections to Bellevue, and then he tells us a little bit more. And he tells us a little bit more.
So is this still your current address right now? We moved around to Ocala, Wildwood. They just built the, I think it's called the Villages.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That was our backyard. Well, my dad's ex-boss's son. And I got some cousins that live in Hialeah. I love the Gators. That's my team. The other day I saw some people from Gainesville. She was like half Puerto Rican.
One of the police officers was a chitterbox.
Chitterbox.
All right, it's 2:30 in the morning, and we're in West Texas. If you don't know West Texas, there's nothing in West Texas. Everywhere we pulled up, we could not find a room. There was no vacancy at every place.
No vacancy.
Sorry, no vacancy.
We finally found a room, but not until San Antonio, and by that time we were all brain dead. The next day we traveled through Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and finally back home in Florida.
That was it. We traveled 2.5 weeks, 6,000 miles, probably 150,000 calories, and finally back home sweet home. And the kids behaved all the way home.
Don't.
All right, not so much.